Hey Greg,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Hi Kirk, hi Richard.
Hey there. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Hey Julia.
Hello. Hello. I'm going to stay off camera for the most part because, as you can hear, I sound really great, and I'm
Oh, I'm
doing a lot of,
so
I'm blowing my nose a lot, and nobody wants to watch that. So we'll stay off camera and only unmute when I have to talk.
I'm so sorry. I had a terrible sinus infection for 2 weeks and I'm just over it. So I feel your pain. Um, yeah, thank you for being here. That's very kind of you. Let's see. We've got there's Shanna. Okay. Just letting uh commission members in and then we can get the guests in. Hi, Shanna.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? Amy. Hey, Kate.
Hello.
Hello.
We do have some members of the public in the waiting room, but I thought I'd just give it a second to see if I think there's a number of commission members that did let me know that they're not able to be here today. So might be a lighter crowd.
Do we have quorum or no votes because of the lack of quorum?
That is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't see Christian.
He
And
will be joining, I think.
yeah, he will. And Peter Merrill said he'll be here. Lori Fisher can't make it. Abby Levin is in Portugal. Jamie can't make it. I have not heard from Beth or Libby. So there's Christian. But we can go ahead and get started. I know Allison is coming for Lori, but she's not going to be able to join the meeting until around 2:30. So, and there's Bernard.
So Sarah, I think the best thing is if you could private message me when quorum is reached, we can go through all of the update items and have discussions. And if quorum is reached, then we'll move into voting items at the end. And if quorum is not reached, then I will share that it wasn't reached. And so this was a public discussion, but not an official meeting.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we have 8 commission members now.
Out of
But I think
how many do we have total?
technically we have 17.
Yeah, so you need at least
For
9.
short one. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully
And Christian's
here and
Okay.
Bernard is here. I know Peter Merrill, I spoke with him earlier today, so he's probably just late. So we should get quorum, but I can.
But Sarah, you
Yep.
and I'm not a commission member, you're not a
Yep.
commission member.
Right.
Do we have enough? Okay.
Yep.
We have 8 without the 2 of you.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Kate.
Great.
I appreciate checking my math because it's not my strong suit. Yeah, so Julia is very under the weather. So she's off camera and hopefully taking this from bed. But I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, there's Peter. Okay. All right. Woo.
Quorum is achieved. Great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead now and admit all the members of the public so we can do roll call. And Shanna, let me know if you've got the spreadsheet up. If not, I'm happy to do the roll call if that's easier for you. Just let me know.
Why don't you go ahead and do the roll call? Thank you.
Sure. All right.
Is everybody in?
I think so. Yeah, everybody's in. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you all. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got the spreadsheet up in front of me, so I'm going to go ahead and do roll call for Shanna, and then we'll introduce members of the public. So Shanna, obviously you are here.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thanks. I know Earl is not with us, but Peter Merrill, I think I saw you come in, right?
Good afternoon.
Hi, thanks. Christian?
I am here. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
Bernard?
Present, thanks.
Thanks. Lori, I know, is not here. Abby's not here. Is Beth? She's here. Or Libby? Julia, I know you're here. You don't have to come off mute. Jamie is not here. Kirk?
Present.
Hi. Richard?
Present.
Thanks. And Greg?
I'm here.
And
Right.
did you recall Amy Hausman's name?
No,
No,
but
no, not yet. No, but I know she's here.
okay. Hello.
Sorry about that. I skipped you. All right, great. And then do you, Shanna, do you want to do
Yeah, I'll
public?
take it from here. So
Great,
good
thanks.
afternoon, everyone. We are excited to see all of you today. So we are going to, I'll just walk everyone through the agenda. We'll review and approve the meeting minutes from February. We have a Main Atlas Project update, the America 250 time capsule, the Great American State Fair conversation, and votes required for that. Moments that made us update, and then public comment for members of the public. Members of the public are not invited to discuss the individual items, just to give us comment at the end of the meeting, but we would like to know who's in the virtual room with us. We see some familiar faces that have been here with us many times, and we also see some new folks. So I'm just going to invite you, I'm going to call your names as you appear in the chat on my list. I think that's an order of entry. And if you could just invite, say your name and then the organization that you're representing today as a guest of the Maine Semi-Quincentennial Commission. So Judy?
Judy Weissman, Bethel, Maine Area 250th Committee.
Pat?
I'm Pat Claus from the Orrington Historical Society.
Kim?
Did you say Kim?
I did. Sorry,
Okay.
Kim.
I wasn't sure
Go
if you
ahead.
said Kim or Pam. Sorry. Hi, Kim Smith, Presque Isle Historical Society and the City of Presque Isle.
Michael Zwelling?
I'm Michael Zwelling. I'm the site manager at St. Croix Island International Historic Site down in Calais. It's part of the National Park Service.
Sarah Vandershafe?
Yeah, two roles. One, Whitman Crossing, and the second is with Kennebunkport, the library, and we're doing a potluck.
Julie Potter Dunlop?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm the president of the Maine Ulster Scots Project based in Freeport and the chair of our Sister Centennial Planning Committee.
Great. Trying to see Scott.
Yeah, I'm vice chairman of the board at the General Henry Knox Museum in Thomaston.
I think, and Frank. Oh, Frank, I think you're on mute.
I'm the president of the Machias Port Historical Society and also a member of the Margaretta Festival Planning Committee.
Peter? Oh, that's actually our Peter, and he's already been introduced. And then I see that Libby has joined us, another commission member. Libby, would you like to introduce yourself? I said commission member, but that's, yeah, go ahead. Oh, Libby, you're on mute if you wanted to try to introduce yourself.
Sorry, Shanna. Good afternoon,
Hi.
everyone. I'm actually walking in between meetings, so it was hard to unmute, but nice to see everybody.
Nice to see everyone. All right, well, thank you, everyone. And at the end, there will be public comment. So if members of the public want to share the items that you're doing, we'd love to hear more about your visual activities or any feedback or input you have. So we're going to just move in first to the February meeting minutes. Is there a motion for approval of those minutes, or I'll take a motion and then a second.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from last time.
Thanks, Christian. Is there a second?
A second.
Amy seconds. Is there any discussion, any suggested edits or anything that anybody would like to discuss?
I'll say Peter did catch a typo. I misspelled great, added an extra E for Great American State Fair. So thank you for catching that, Peter. And it's been corrected. So other than that, I don't think we should be okay. But
anything else anybody wants to record? Okay. All right. And then Sarah, you're recording a transcript of this meeting. Is
Yes.
that the recording message that all of us are getting? Great.
Yep. And the meeting's being recorded so we can post it on our YouTube too. Yeah.
Which is wonderful
Yeah.
because this is a public meeting and everyone in
Yeah.
the public is welcome to attend. So moving to the next agenda item, Sarah, do you want to take it?
Yeah, actually we need to call for a vote on the minutes. It's okay.
We can't just vote by acclamation. Everybody in favor, please raise your hand or say aye. All right. Anybody opposed, please raise your hand or say nay. Kirk, are you opposed to the minutes, or is it just not lowering for you?
No, I didn't even use that. I don't know why it's there. So I was in.
You were in the
voting for-
eye. I thought you were in the eye. Okay, great.
I'll get that. I don't know how.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't see any dissenters. Any abstentions? Please say abstain or raise your hand. Okay. Then it is unanimous. Thanks, Sarah, for keeping us on track. And so then now moving into the main Atlas project update. Sarah, please go ahead and update us.
Yeah, happily. Thanks, Shanna. So the project continues to chug along. Thanks to those of you again who volunteered to pre-screen and help me with a couple of challenges and questions I have about certain icon listings and things like that. So I know some of you are reviewing that as we speak, and that is much appreciated. Our content writer, Stephanie Bouchard, has already started. And so that's going really well. We had a great meeting with Christian this morning about all of the assets that Mainstay Archives has, including video that I didn't know we had before. So we're generating a lot of really great images. And same with the Penobscot Marine Museum has given us access to really tremendous collections. So it's shaping up. The website is being built, and it's chugging right along, and we hopefully all fingers and toes crossed that we're going to launch this in June, pending all the website construction schedules. So, but things are moving right along. So I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for their support, and stay tuned as we keep generating more stuff.
Are there any questions for members of the commission about the main Atlas project, or feedback or anything? And again, our subcommittees are self-selected. So if you're interested in being part of that interim work between now and the next meeting before the launch, please reach out to Sarah. We're happy to have many hands make light work.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm not seeing any raised hands and no one's come off mic. So we will move. And Sarah, you're going to be doing a lot of updating because as our executive director, you've been doing a lot of the interim conversations. So the time capsule, can you walk us through our communications with the National about this? I know they've been very strict, and there are things that were accepted and things that were not accepted in terms of what we had proposed.
Yeah. So just to recap, we did discuss this at our last official commission meeting, and then we did host a special meeting where we talked specifically about the time capsule. So at the conclusion of that special meeting, everyone had decided that both a letter from the governor and a poem from Julia Bosma, our poet laureate, were absolutely on the list of things we wanted to submit. And there were still some pending discussions about what items we may want to include in the world's tiniest time capsule box, the 6-inch by 2-inch by 5-inch box. So in between that meeting and this meeting, there was a deadline with America 250 to let them know what we were going to submit. So I took the liberty of sending them a short list of possible items to include to kind of see what their reactions were to different materials of things that we had discussed in our meeting. So to let you know where we stand right now, they are fine with the letter from the governor. It will be a two-sided page, one side letter from the governor, the other side will be the poem because we have space for one page of paper. So that is fine. And then the other items, we had discussed a Sweetgrass Wabanaki bookmark. They said no to that. I put in, I had suggested anything like made of newsprint or like a magazine cover, just thinking if we wanted to send a newspaper or like a copy of Downey's magazine or something. Both of those were rejected. They did say that we could include like a postcard sized map. And so I took the liberty of reaching out to Libby, who very kindly has set aside some maps that Osher Library has in postcard size that I can pick up if we decide we want to go that route. I also was asking about more organic materials like shells and bones and things. And they said, okay to like an oyster shell. Why that's okay and Sweetgrass is not, I'm not entirely sure. And then they said no to like I asked about the material like in a paper like shellfish bag or like you get your cooked lobsters in, if that kind of material would be okay. And they also said no to that. So we are cleared for the poem and the letter for the governor. So I think what we need to figure out today is, do we want to send anything for the tiny box, or do we want to call it with the letter and the poem? So that's kind of where we are. Just as a deadline reminder, items have to be in the hands of the Library of Congress on April 30th. So the time is limited, but I'd love to hear people's thoughts. I know this has not been a straightforward experience.
So Sarah, can you just list exactly what is permissible based on and the list that you submitted wasn't a list that you brainstormed. It was a list of suggestions that had come from commission members or the public, correct? So just to be clear, this wasn't Sarah just creating her own list and submitting. This was these were items that had been suggested by members of the public or the commission.
Yes, thank you, Shannon, for clarifying that. Yes. So the yes materials are archival paper, a postcard printed on archival paper, something like an oyster shell, but the no's were newsprint, magazine, any sort of it's called wet strength paper, and the Sweetgrass bookmark they said no to.
So we have two options. We can stick to the letter and the poem, which was already previously agreed upon at the last meeting, or we can add an additional item. I think the easiest thing to do is if somebody would like, okay, Peter, you have a question, go ahead.
I was just going to say the postcard map seems simple, easy, and who doesn't love a good map?
I'm going to take that as a nomination. Is there a second on that?
I feel weird seconding that, but I just did want to clarify it would be a map of me. Just
Okay.
in case there
Great.
was any people were
Thanks,
wondering.
Libby.
Yep.
May I ask a question? What is
Sure.
the era of the map? Is it an old map? Is it a current map? Who's the designer of the map? Is there information you have, Libby, about it?
Hold on, you're on mute, Libby. Yep,
I
there you go.
know. This is a bad way to be on this meeting. Anyways, so there are some selections, right?
Okay.
So there's an 1820 Moses Greenleaf map, which is the first printed map of the state of Maine, which we have in postcard form, right, as a reproduction.
Mhm.
There's also a really fun 1950s era motel bath map of Maine, which is like a green and red graphic, which is more funky. It's a reproduction of the bath mat map, like you would have stepped out onto it from your like tourism, but it's just a simple map of Maine with some images on it. And I think there are a couple of others. I can pop a couple into the chat just so you can see them if you just give me a minute. But those are just we have many postcards that we print from our collections, but in terms of maps of the entire state of Maine, those are the ones we have on hand at the moment. And I didn't want to go more hyper local than that.
Thank you.
Christian?
We also, the State Archives has a lot of different images of maps of Maine that we could print on the size required. We have one that's just all like the watersheds of Maine, so it's the outline of the state with just all the rivers and lakes. We have one, just name it and we've got it. If you can think of a way that the state of Maine could be depicted going back to the 1700s, we can come up with something. So.
Yes, and I have no proprietary claim on providing these postcards, Christian. So if you want to print out a map on archival paper, whatever. I think it's lovely that a small map of Maine on archival paper will end up in said time capsule. I don't care where it comes from. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
So Libby, that sounds like a second for that idea.
Right. Love
I'm
it.
going to take that as a second. There sounds like there's some energy around that. We want to dial down as a commission into, a preference if we have one. Are there any other nominations for any other items within the confines of what? Yes, go ahead, Bernard.
Well, Sarah, I gave you a couple of suggestions, as you may recall. They didn't make it to any list, so I don't know if they are possibly acceptable or not. I do find most of these items to be deeply uninspiring. And what I suggested was a fragment of a bone from a right whale, can be very small, a piece of an ash tree, to raise ecological questions for the future about how Maine dealt with these potential extinctions. With the idea that a little education and something a little more interesting could go farther than, I apologize to those involved, a map of Maine, which is well known and unlikely to change if our country hangs together, lobster bibs and, other such detritus. I really think that if we're going to take part in this cheerful but juvenile activity, it should be more educational.
Sarah, were those on the list that you submitted and that you just didn't reference, or did those get overseen?
Oyster shell bone did get approved. I did not include the ash tree. I thought that the bookmark, the sweetgrass, was close enough, so I apologize, Bernard. If that's a different enough organic material, then.
But you understand why I was suggesting these, not because they were organic, but because they were saying something about the environment of Maine and, what we expect to do with our world.
Absolutely. Yeah. The exercise with America 250 was mostly about like what kinds of materials are they accepting. And it's an unexpected mix. I will say that.
And can you clarify, Sarah? So oyster shell is a lot different than whalebone. Was whalebone on the list that you submitted or not?
No, whalebone was not specifically called out. but I'm happy to check that if we feel strongly about that. I can do that this afternoon with them. Just double checking.
Okay, so Bernard, I hear you nominating ash tree.
Thank you.
Do you have a
Yeah.
preference for those two?
I only got one. Well, I think the right whale piece would actually be more emotionally significant.
Okay, is there a second? Christian, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to just kind of ask a question. Like, we are not going to be able to put anything in the box, I don't think. Maybe we could, that would state what, like, the bone is. Like, a map is sort of, a map is a map. It's the map of the state of Maine. If we include a chunk of bone without any sort of contextual information around it, can we imagine that 250 years from now, when somebody opens the box, that they'll know what it is? I mean, I could see referencing it in the poem or in the governor's letter or something like that. I just think instead of just having a chunk of bone in there, we would want to provide that educational context.
Just write on the piece of bone what it is. I have in my office right now a human tibia from Rome that anyone can come and look at, and it says so right on it.
I'll just
Would have
clarify.
put a skull in there, but I didn't think that was quite right.
Christian, yeah, we did discuss having the governor's letter articulate what, if we put something in the box, what it is. So we can certainly do that. If not, I was told we could have a folded piece of paper to include in the box. So either way, we will have an opportunity to describe what's in there and why it was selected.
Just Bernard, just to dial down, because we have to get this in the hands of the Library of Congress within that 30-day period. Do you have a piece that will fit? Sarah, the box itself is very small, right? The dimensions of what are included are much smaller than the bicentennial time capsule that the state of Maine did.
Yes,
so I think the question is the fragment size.
The box is 6 inches long, 5 inches wide, and just 2 inches high. That's the exterior dimension of the box. So the interior dimension is slightly smaller.
I can find that out. In looking for these samples, I suggested that the piece be no more than 2 inches by 2 inches. But I think we probably could provide a fragment of any size that was suitable.
Okay, and it's just recognizing it may be impossible.
I know that, and I promise you I won't hang myself if you don't include these items.
Okay, so there's been a nomination for a piece of whalebone.
I've already actually succeeded in my goal by suggesting to the august group here that there could be an educational aspect to putting items into this time capsule.
Okay, so we have a nomination for whalebone. Is there a second there?
I'll second that, Jen.
Okay, seconded by Kurt. And are there any other nominations for items that should be included?
I'm going back to the pothole idea, but I know it's going to be hard to achieve.
What's the pothole idea? Forgive me.
Well, we wanted something that was, reflective of all of Maine. So I had suggested potholes.
Thank you, especially this time of year. Peter.
Given the fact that Bernard can make a whalebone any size he wants to, and a postcard is clearly going to fit inside the box, can't we put both in?
I think that is probably, assuming that there's no prohibition on the inclusion of bone, then I'm sure we certainly could. So That sounds like a nomination for both. Is there a second for that? Okay, Amy is seconding that. All right, so Richard, go ahead.
My quick ad menu just popped up. Are we gonna write on this postcard to explain why we put the whalebone in there?
I think the idea is that we would ask the governor to consider putting it in the letter, and then if not, I think that's an excellent idea.
If not, I'd be curious if somebody put something in 250 years ago, if I'm connecting those dots without any sort of an explanation.
We'll be able to put an explanation in, Richard, either through the governor's letter, or I was told we could include a folded piece of paper in the box. So either on the postcard or on something, we will be able to include a description.
And just to clarify, the whalebone is from the Maine State Museum.
Yes, and it's from a whale that ended its life in the Gulf of Maine.
Right, so that would be like a crucial part of the explanation of this mission, I think, too, which would be great. It's not a random bone, but from the museum itself.
Not random.
And Bernard, you can reduce it to the size of 2 inches for the dimensions of the box.
Pretty sure, yeah. We would have to sort of register this with NOAA, the Aeronautics Administration, because we have the rest of the skeleton, which because of its poor preservation could be displayed only in part in the museum. So the time, I suppose, is a critical element, but I think we should be able to get permission in time to get you a piece. Now, I don't know if they would react to our chipping some piece off if we don't have anything that's quite that size. But I'll begin that process today.
Okay. And Sarah, I think it's important that you communicate with America 250 today about that, just because if it's not permitted, the fact that the Sweetgrass bookmark is not permitted, it's very curious to me. That's an odd decision. And I suppose they're concerned about organic matter, but if they're concerned about organic matter that is sweetgrass, they may be concerned about organic matter that is bone. I don't know. Yes,
I have actually already sent them an email while we were chatting, just so I could get a quick response. Okay. Yeah, and then so Bernard, just in terms of timing, it's something that we need to get in the mail probably next week. Do you think that? If you ask today, hopefully A250 will get back to me quickly. And if you want to go ahead and start the process and see from their perspective.
Start the process. Yeah, I can't absolutely guarantee it would be available quite as soon as that, but I'll start it today. In fact, I'll do it right now.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Bernard.
So there are 3 proposals. I think let's start with each in turn, and then we're going to go to both. So you can vote for all 3 and both. There's nothing, you don't have to pick one of the above, if that makes sense. So all in favor, or we can just start with both. So all in favor of both, please raise your hand, assuming that it's permissible. Any opposed to both, please raise your hand or say nay. Any abstentions? All right. It seems like it's been moved, second, and approved unanimously to do both. Thank you for your suggestions. I do think we need to dial down on the map. Do people have strong feelings about which map, or do we want to delegate that decision to Libby, Christian, and Sarah? I see some nodding heads around the delegating. I'll invite any commissioners object to leaving the decision of which map in the hands of Sarah, Libby, and Christian. Seeing no objections, that piece has been delegated, but it will be the whole state. Yes, Julia makes the point that probably there's going to be room for a couple. Fair enough. So, all right, good luck with. So, Sarah, you're going to do the work to pull together those postcards and the letter from the governor. Hopefully we'll get an email response from America 250 right away. And Bernard, hopefully you'll get a response from NOAA fairly quickly. Great.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for
The next,
considering that, by the way.
of course, always. Sorry that it wasn't included on that initial list. So the Great American State Fair, this is going to be another required vote. And recognizing in a sense that the deadline has expired. It expired at the last meeting, but we did some more inquiries, and I think it's important to bring everybody up to date and that the commission make a final decision. So Sarah, can you share with us remind everybody what the Great American State Fair is and the estimated cost of it and the commission's response with regards to federal funding for it. I think that's the important context that we all need, and then people can ask you questions.
Yeah, great. Happily. Thanks, Shanna. So I'm going to share my screen in a second too, just because I pulled a little something together for those of us who are more visual people, just about the expectations set here. So just as a quick recap, the Great American State Fair is something that Freedom 250 has initiated and is running. And so that is a group that is different and separate from both the White House Task Force 250 and from America 250. So this is mostly coming directly from the White House. As Shanna mentioned, we were given an extremely short turnaround time to say yes or no without knowing a lot of details. Back in February, the governor's office was notified, not the commission, and there was not a lot of time to figure out what exactly we could and should do here. So let me share my screen super fast here. Okay. Can everybody see that okay? Just thumbs up. Great. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So just to, again, give you an overview, just so everyone is on the same page, so we all have the same information. So the Great American State Fair is going to be running from Thursday.
Sarah, I actually can't see it. I'm glad everybody else can.
No.
But could you make it just a little bit bigger, please?
Yeah, does that help, Shanna? Or do you want me to zoom in here? Is that better?
That is great.
Ah, perfect. Excellent. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So the fair will run in Washington, D.C. on the National Mall from Thursday, June 25th through Friday, July 5th. So it's a while. And the times are either 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then, of course, states will have to load in and set up prior to that opening date. So what Freedom 250 is providing is basically, they are saying it will be a Beaux-Arts style pavilion in the same style as like a World's Fair, like Chicago, 1892. It has shrunk a little bit. They're now saying 750 square feet, so a 25 by 30 foot partially enclosed platform, which still not exactly clear what that means. They say that there are doors that have to remain open during the day, but that they are also providing air conditioning and some interior and external lighting, power, and then I guess you get a table and chair. So the expectation of the participants is they're asking that this pavilion be manned by at least 4 staff people for all open hours. So like some of the days it's open 13 hours. So we'd have to have 4 people on staff on site at all time. We would be responsible for the cost of lodging accommodations, for travel for those staff, food, etc., all of that stuff. We also would have to create the whatever we want inside of this pavilion. They're encouraging it to be interactive, to make sure it's accessible, and accommodates people with a variety of disabilities, things like that. We would also be responsible for shipping whatever this is that we create, and then would be responsible for the installation, setup, and take down. Just as a note too, they say that they will not provide Wi-Fi and that self-service will likely be not available. We would also not be allowed to use a point of sale to sell anything. We can give things away, but we are not allowed to give away food or anything edible. And then the caveat too with all of this is that any content that is included in this pavilion must be approved by Freedom 250, including signage and whatever the activation plan is. So they have set a timeline. This is the most recent one, that operational plans for this pavilion would be due April 20th. And then you can see there from that. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you all again. So basically what the conversations that have been happening are about people's ability to participate. Most states are estimating between $250,000 and $750,000 as the full cost of their participation. So that includes staffing, lodging, shipping, creation of the materials, and all that stuff. In most states, it's either the governor's office directly or Office of Tourism or something that's doing this. Now, there are a lot of rumors still flying around about who is participating and who is not. Freedom 250 is telling people two things. One, that they have 46 states participating. The other, that there are 10 states who have decided not to participate. From my conversations nationally, I know for sure that states like Washington, Maryland, North Carolina are not participating due to the costs and this just not being in anyone's budget because it wasn't on anyone's radar, and Hawaii as well. So I know, Greg, I'd love to tap you to get a little bit more perspective on what the conversations have been in the governor's office as well, just to kind of close the loop on all this stuff.
Yeah, so for the New England states, there initially was some coordination that I was not aware of to have the Big E, which is an agricultural fair out in Western Massachusetts that the New England states take part in. That went on for several weeks, and it ended, I think, with the Big E saying they did not want to take part. It wasn't really feasible for them to take the mantle. So as far as I am aware at this point, none of the New England states have signed on to doing anything on this, and maybe partially as a result of that. I do have some information from our Office of Tourism to take part would be, I think they said 650,000 was an estimate and conservative estimate. And so that's not feasible for the state to really do. I don't know if there's other partners that we could look to, but I really think and we have sort of at this point said we're likely not going to participate. I think I've seen a tracker where we were counted in that column already. So I think barring the other New England states turning and taking part in this, I think that from state agency perspective, I think that would be a no. But I certainly, would be open to other information if there is any.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I can confirm that none of the other New England states have said yes. They have not given a finite no to Freedom
Right.
250 either. I think a lot of people are kind of letting this ride to see where it ends up and if it actually materializes, just due to the immense cost of participation, not just financially, but staff-wise, and especially at most states' busiest time during the semi-quincentennial over July 4th holiday. So yeah, it's been a very interesting and weird moving target. I just presuming that someone will ask this question, because I still have this question, is if we say no, then what? Hawaii let us know that when they said no, Freedom 250 came back and said that they wanted to work with them to make something happen, but that has yet to be defined. I do know that there's going to be other booths. Like they have a big, they're going to have a big section of the fair about prayer and religious installations. And I think some of the major sponsors like Walmart, Dodge, Ford, Ram, there will be booths there from those folks as well. But as to the rest of it, it's still a bit of a mystery. So.
I would just
yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I would just say, I think maybe some of the other problem, if we got past costs, would be content control, messaging, the availability even of hotels at this point, yeah, I think the overall feasibility of the fair itself has yet to be seen. So that's where I don't see much value in coming out and saying no. I don't see much value in not hearing information as it comes in. But that's kind of where I see things at this point.
So on February 24th, Sarah did send an email at my request asking whether there was any federal funding, putting forward the potential uppermost budget of $750,000. And that was based on, I think, conversations with Maine Tourism about what it might cost to stand up something like this. And we did get a very decisive answer in writing back that there is no federal funding available. So I will just say, from the Secretary of State's perspective and Archives perspective, we just don't have $750,000 or even $650,000, or even if it did come in at $250,000. That's not capacity that we have. Certainly we could probably find 4 people that would be willing to take an all expenses paid trip to DC, although it sounds like a fairly grueling endeavor, but we can't fund it ourselves. It's simply something that we don't have the capacity for. Richard, go ahead.
Thanks. I look to go to DC for the 4th. Let's be honest, it's absolutely ridiculous, and everybody's charging exactly what you think they're supposed to be charging for that. So unless you're going to go and stay in New Jersey and commute in every day, it's probably not terribly affordable. Take this with a grain of salt, but the fact that the governor's even floating the possibility of being able to do this is discouraging, because we were shot down for our initial request. We just need to walk away from this. It's not going to generate anything for Maine or Mainers that's realistic. And if we've got any money, why don't we do something for the people of the state of Maine? So if you want a negative motion to decline participation in the Great American State Fair, I will make that.
And that sounds like a motion. I agree with you about pouring any money that we have into local projects. I mean, we got so many great grant requests, and we couldn't fund them all with the money that we had from the Cultural Affairs Council and from Maine State Archives. So I agree wholeheartedly there. Libby.
Second, Richard's motion. And just from a historical perspective, as someone who teaches a class about World's Fairs, including the centennial ones, they're a 3-year planning process with separate fair committees for each state that have nothing to do with their bicentennial or centennial committees. I mean, it literally took people years to plan these in other centuries. And I just downloaded the fair toolkit off the site, and it's 3 pages of AI generated content that actually doesn't have anything about what you would have to do. So this is really going to be a problem for folks, I think. But I don't see how Maine could feasibly do it or see it pass muster in any. I think it would be a very bipartisan agreement that how could anyone send this participation? Also, you can't put content together in a month and a half for a form that's not even available. It's just sort of, I don't know how any state is participating. Okay, I second.
So it's been motion not to participate has been made and seconded. Bernard, go ahead for discussion.
Yeah, I just want to express my support for what Richard said, and also from what Libby said, looking up, as she said, the astounding amount of time it took to plan these earlier expositions, but how embarrassing it would be for our state to contribute any money to this when it hasn't been able, understandably, to contribute money to this commission and our outstanding desire to help communities around the state, which we did to some degree thanks to the Archives and the Cultural Affairs Committee. I think we should be proud of saying no to something like this under these circumstances.
Okay, any further discussion before we take a vote? Okay. All those in favor of the motion to decline participation in the American State Fair? Okay. All those opposed, raise your hands or say nay. All those abstaining, raise your hands or say abstain. All right, it looks unanimous of those present. Sarah, go ahead and regretfully decline our participation.
Will do. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everyone's thoughts on this. I will.
Libby is shaking her head. Oh, is it just shaking your head at the idea that we could pull something together that would be quality in a matter of a couple months?
Yeah, just general shaking of
Shanna,
head.
I would just add that we enthusiastically decline to participate.
Rather than regretfully?
Yes.
It's my innate politeness coming out. Fair enough.
Yeah, I will let them know it is my delight to to decline. Just so everyone knows, I will say that, and I will let people know what they say. I'm glad that we are going to decline formally, because I think that hopefully will help us keep tabs on what exactly they're going to do if we don't show up. And there is a call for the first time this Friday from 3:30 to 4:15 about the Great American State Fair with Freedom 250. So I will attend just to keep tabs on what's going on and make sure we can figure out if anyone is claiming that Maine is there, that we are not. So thanks everybody. I really appreciate. I know this is it's kind of a wacky thing. So thanks.
Well, I think I appreciate your digging into what it would take and what it would look like and whether there were resources. So thanks for doing that.
I think it's important that we say we've done our due diligence too. It's not, I mean, it's declining for the sake of declining, but it's, had tourism run a budget and what it would look like. And it's not feasible for the state to, do that money without support. I think that's a key reason. I mean, we have other reasons, but I think it's important that they know it's just not like out of hand.
Yep, absolutely. I will include that. Thanks, Libby.
So moments that made us.
Yes, all right. You still have to listen to me talk, but this won't be very long, and it's really, I'm so excited about this. So I think it's been actually a couple meetings ago that we discussed the moments that made us exhibit, just as a quick refresher. This has come out of our Western states, our colleagues out there based. This is a downloadable, customizable, printable exhibit about that's done for the semiquincentennial. It was based on an exhibit that History Colorado actually originally put together for their state museum, and then a whole bunch of other Western states got on board to generate content, and it kind of grew out of this frustration for them not being part of the original 13 colonies, and wanting to make sure that people understood that the history of this country is more than just the OG 13, and that there is a lot throughout history that has contributed to the development of the country. So that being said, we had agreed as a commission to sort of be a facilitation partner in getting this out, because it's really great material, and it's something that we can help offer to all of our colleagues and constituents throughout the state, that is fully customizable. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Bear with me, just to show you what this looks like right now. Okay, hopefully you can all see that. Shanna, is that showing up? Okay, great. So this is our basic landing page on the Secretary of State's website. So if you go right now over to resources, you will see that the first thing now is the Moments That Made Us exhibit. So the way this works is that there is a formal request form that is here. You just click that. There's just a few things that we need that people to fill out, and this is basically an agreement with for the states that have put this together that you're using it. So, and then once people fill out this form, and I have had a couple people do this just to make sure it works, and it does. So once you fill this out, you will be automatically sent to a folder that is specific to Maine. And I'm going to stop sharing just again, because I think I have to do this separately. But I'm just going to show you what that folder contains very quickly. Here. So they will get an introductory letter that's from the commission, as well as all our Western state partners, talking about the exhibit. They will get an implementation guide, and then so they'll get a folder that looks like this. And so when you go into these are all PDFs of the customizable exhibits. So there's one up there about the Declaration of Independence. Is that showing up, or is it just the folder that's showing up?
It's just the folder, Sarah.
It's just the folder. Okay. All right. All right. This is not.
So are those Maine specific resources, or are they the national resources?
They're the national resources. So, so anyway, I'm sorry, this is not a seamless experience. But it's all customizable exhibits. I'll go ahead and send the link to this to everyone on the commission, just so you have it too. But it's really exciting. It's really cool. I did share its existence on the Maine Archives and Museums listserv when we knew about it, and people were really excited about it. So I'm also hopeful that we can customize some of these for a little exhibit in the cultural building lobby that might coincide with the exhibit from the National History Day winners for the state of Maine. So it's a really exciting resource. It's a lot of great content in there that people can take advantage of and design their own exhibits for the 250th. So I just wanted to let you know that it's official, it's out, and I can follow up with the file so you all can see for yourselves. And once we get our constant contact account up and running, we will get this out to the world. So
this will be good for schools, local historical societies, other folks, but there still will be a considerable cost to them in terms of like printing and mounting, right? This is just the content. So this helps people put together a nice exhibit that they may want to share. Okay.
Yeah. So there is still, the cost would be printing. You're right, Libby. I know in the user guide, there are specs and things to help. And I think there's some general cost analysis. I'm not sure if they got that like from Staples or for something, but estimates of what a per panel printing would be so that people can help budget for that.
What size are the panels designed to? Are they like 24 by 36?
That is a good question that I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Because I just wonder if different people end up doing this in Maine, or even getting. I only say this because we print these things all the time. Like a set of these sorts of things, like to print them on foam core and to have them, mounted and be able to like use them. It's still going to be over $1,000 for most institutions. Easily.
They're 24 inches by 36.
Yeah. So. Yeah, depending on how no one will be able to print. I guess my point is no one will be able to print 24 by 36 in-house unless you have a large format printer, which most people do not. So that'll be a local print shop and printed and mounted. But it's for people who have a small exhibit budget but don't have the people to develop the content. I think it's a good idea. I just hope that when you send it out, Sarah, that like it's clear to folks that like, hey, we're not sending you the exhibit. Which is, I wonder, we're sending you the files for which you can print and make your own exhibit.
Yeah, exactly. And they have all the templates included in there. They're all for free on Canva. So you can literally go in and add your own logo and add multiple panels. Like it's a really nice project. Awesome. And it's really great, and we can offer it for free. It's not a completely no cost endeavor, but Roxport might be, a lower print cost than Portland. You're right, Julia. So anyway,
it's just more expensive.
Right. So that will be publicly released shortly. I'm really excited about it. I'm glad that we're able to partner with this group to offer it as something. So, and municipalities too. Anyone can use it. So. Any questions about that or? Okay. I think that's it for our formal agenda. Unless any commission member, if there was something special that you wanted to talk about or raise. I will just mention super quickly that we're partnering with Maine Historical Society and to sponsor a lecture. Liam Reardon has offered to give for free a lecture on the Declaration of Independence on July 2nd. Which at the lunch hour. So I think that will be really fun. This just materialized this week. So stay tuned for that. I'm glad that he's very generously offered his expertise. So that will be fun. It'll be online, so everyone can participate. So just FYI.
Great, thank you. Is there any new business from commission members before we turn it over to members of the public to update us on their local plans? Okay, hearing no new business. Oh, Amy, go ahead. Yes.
Sorry, thank you, Shanna. I just wanted to report in, Sarah's been working with us along with Maine Humanities and Community Plate. The Maine Arts Commission is going to be hosting 7 dinners that are free potluck dinners across the state of Maine. And we've been able to identify the communities, which include Biddeford, Bethel, Bangor, St. Albans, Cobscook Institute, Van Buren, and Millinocket. So those are going to start in May and will run through probably October or November. And we are looking at them as our kind of contribution at the Maine Arts Commission to the semi-quincentennial. Sarah, I don't know if we've talked about including the logo, but I'd like to talk with you about that because we're getting ready to promote those very soon.
Great.
So that's one thing that we're doing. And the other thing that the Maine Arts Commission is doing is we've partnered with MAFCA and the Common Ground Fair, who is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So exciting. And we will be presenting at the State House starting at the end of May, all 50 of the posters that have been commissioned for the Common Ground Fair over the course of its lifetime. There's going to be a publication about that. I'm writing an essay for that, and they'll feature all of the artists and all of the posters. That show will move on in August to Waterville Creates, so that folks who are heading to the fair in September can stop by Waterville Creates to see the exhibition as they travel up to Unity for the fair. So those are two things that we are doing to celebrate the semi-quincentennial. I wasn't sure if everybody was aware.
Thanks,
Love
Amy.
that.
Yeah, they're going to be great.
Anything else? Okay. Members of the public, this is the public comment period. So if there are folks, if you want to raise your hand, if there's an update you want to do for your local community, we want to hear it.
Kim, are you waving?
That's me waving.
Go for it.
Just very excited to report that it's been very busy as far as sesquicentennial celebrations here in Presque Isle. We've already had 24 events.
You're a rock star. Wow.
I'm tired this week.
Wow.
Last week was our heavy week because it was Founders Week, the week that Presque Isle was officially incorporated as a town with the state of Maine. So we had a lot of special events. I had 6 events on Saturday alone. So, and 3 costume changes.
Wow. Cool.
But yeah,
Congratulations.
Presentations, a Betsy Ross reenactment, children's story hours, 18th century children's games at the rec center, candlelight tours. We held the Northern Maine Regional Competition for Maine History Day. We've had 2 First Friday art walks, and the list goes on. But we're very excited about this. So
awesome. Great job, Presque Isle. Anybody else want to talk about what they're doing well? Sarah, go for it. And then
Sure. So, I live in Kennebunkport, and we have an area that Earl actually helped designate as a historic district back during the bicentennial in 1976. So it's our 50th anniversary of this one particular. It was nominated and then accepted into the National Registry of Historic Places in 1976. So we're piggybacking sort of the 250 with this 50th anniversary of that district. And some folks who are industrial designers made these beautiful discs and garden flags. And so all the neighbors who live in the historic district are going to have the opportunity to have them. And it says both America 250 and 50 years of the entry into the historic district. So that we're excited about. And the anniversary starts on May 6th, so we'll have them through the summer for the district. And then I alluded to the potluck we're having. We decided to focus on dessert. So essentially on July 5th, some of the nonprofits are having pop-up tents, and we'll have a sign-up genius. And we have categories, and the idea is everyone brings a dessert to share with a patriotic theme. And as the board chair of the library, I have a cookbook, and Barbara Bush had donated to the cookbook her recipe for red, white, and blue cobbler. And it's on White House stationery. So we're going to, as the library volunteers are going to make that cobbler, and I'll have sort of a foam display of her recipe on the White House stationery, which is beautiful. So those are just a couple things.
Very cool. Pat, you are still on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been pretty busy with my project on Azuba Freeman Ryder. We actually have an artist who has come up with a beautiful recreation of what, you can't see it, that's too bad. You can see it a little bit there. Just a beautiful representation of her running through the woods with these 3 children, heavily pregnant. You can even see she's pregnant. It's just beautiful. Hopefully we'll put that on a sign and possibly on the monument as well. I've looked into getting a granite monument that's about 7 feet tall, and that should be about $30,000 with the artwork and with a brief description of what she did to alert the local militia about the presence of British troops in town. And then the town is 100% behind this. I did a presentation at the town about a week ago. So the town manager and the selectmen are all behind this, which is wonderful. So they are definitely going to put a sign on Route 15 to replace the sign that fell down in the 1990s. The original wooden sign. We're going to have a great big, probably 5 by 9, 5 by 10, like fiberglass sign, which will be there forever, with this artwork on it and with this explanation of what she did. And then maybe even we're thinking big, maybe even a bronze statue sometime in the future. But at least we have the town behind us. So anyway, it's very exciting. And somebody told me to let Susan Collins's office know about it, and she might be able to help. So I don't know. We'll see.
Wonderful. Anything else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah. We've got, obviously, the big planning is with the Margarita Days Festival, and it's going to be 19 to 20 June. And this year, we're going to move it back into the Machias area for a number of different reasons. But we'll have the Down East reenactors. We're going to have a fife and drum corps, I believe, out of New Hampshire that will come in and participate on one of the days. But I think what we're going to do different this year is also add what we call the Margaretta Trail to it. And it's going to be a map that has a number of other places that are associated with the American Revolutionary War, all within a few minutes of driving distance from the Margarita Days Festival, so that people coming to Machias can take that map and visit some other locations in Machias Port and Fort O'Brien and other historical locations that are significant in the local area. And I think over time, perhaps that will be something that we can include in terms of some signage and things of that nature, and hopefully establish the Margaretta Trail as something that we can, keep down the road for other folks that come into Machias for whatever reasons they may be coming into it for. So, and then on a side note, and I'm not involved in this, but my colleagues in the Machias Historical Society have broken ground on some property. I want to say it's about 20 acres or so in Machias, but out on one of the country roads. And it looks like it's going to be the beginning of what they call Liberty Village. I'm not sure if you've heard anything in that respect, but it's going to be they're going to build a few buildings there and kind of, make it look like something back in the early 1800s. And then over time, it will grow into what we believe will be an interesting site for people to come to see how folks lived in the colonial times in this area. Again, with reenactors and other folks that would be manning that property. So we're probably talking a couple of years away, but at least they broke ground on that, and I think that's pretty significant.
Very cool. Well, these are really exciting to hear about. There's a lot of good stuff happening around the state. And I think that's what we at the commission have been excited about, is to lift up the locals. Anything else that folks want to share from the public? Go ahead, Judy. Yeah.
I have a question really going back to the Atlas 250. can you say how many applications you had for that and when you think people will find out what's been accepted as one of the Atlas 250 projects?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we're hoping that this is going to go live in May. We received close to 400 public nominations. So it was a lot, which was awesome and super exciting. So hang tight.
Great. Pat?
So I'm sorry to ask another question, but Sarah, is it possible, like, if we put this monument up, can I add that information to the historical atlas at that time, like in August or something like that? Or is it just whatever is on in May stays?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me think about that, Pat, and how that might work. But maybe we can figure out how to do that.
Okay.
But we'll definitely want to highlight it and talk about it for sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, Pat.
All right. Just really appreciate everybody's participation. Thanks, everyone. Sarah, can you remind us when the next meeting is, just so we can save the date?
Yeah, our schedule is a little different than normal these next few months. I'm just pulling up my calendar so I don't say the wrong date. It's going to be May 13th. So we are meeting next month, but then we are not meeting in June and July. So we'll go from May to August.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
For your time.
See you on May 13th. Bye-bye.